Welcome to the Thunder Underground Podcast, episode number 48. My name is Trent, and I'm joined by Jason.
Hello, hello.
Hello. We've got a great one this week. We've got all four members of Screaming Red Mutiny joining us.
This is a good one.
Yeah, we're going to play a brand new track from them as well. But before we get into all that, we want to remind you to go to thethunderunderground.com. From there, you can find all our previous podcasts, find previous reviews of stuff. You can find links to all our social medias, which are Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and of course, SoundCloud, where all these are hosted. Speaking of Screaming Red Mutiny, get on SoundCloud, go back, like 30 episodes now, probably, to find Sprout.
Yeah.
He was on there back in the teens sometime. And
our formative teen years.
Yeah. And that's a great one. This one we're getting, of course, we get more into just what Screaming Red Mutiny is about, everything that's going on. But with that one with Sprout, we got into a lot of his past and influence and just all kinds of random stuff. But before we get into all the Screaming Red Mutiny talk, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple albums that have come out in the past few weeks. The first one being Anvil.
That's right.
Which on the last episode you called me out on because I'd listened to part of it but had never gotten around to completing it, but I went ahead and did that like I told you I would.
Good. A man of your word. I like that.
And it's Anvil. I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
It's called Anvil is Anvil because it's Anvil and that's what they do.
That's right. Alliteration is the order of the day for these guys.
That's a good point because that's something I thought about with this album is a lot of the song titles. You see the song title, then the song starts, and you're like, yeah, that's what this should have been called. They're very straightforward. They've always been that way.
I mean, Butterbust Jerky. Come on. You got to love it.
Right.
People out there going, what the fuck does that mean? It's
Go
about
back.
About as crazy as backwaxed.
Deep in the catalog of Anvil, and you will find this stuff. But the new album, Anvil is Anvil, came out at the end of February. And in typical Anvil fashion, it's a barn burner from start to finish.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is just meat and potatoes metal. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This album won't let you down. This album has what you need, especially for, cracking some beers open on a Saturday night and just turning it up. This album has just chock full of just badass riffs and killer hooks. What'd you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. It's, Anvil is one of those things you pretty much always know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
In the fashion of like AC/DC or someone like that, there's nothing that's really changed over the years. But it's always good. There's always new riffs. There's always new stuff that keeps you intrigued if you're into Anvil, if you're into that kind of metal.
That's right.
And they're, we talked about it before. They're one of those bands that, hasn't really ever caught over into the mainstream, even when people talk about historical metal bands. And I know the documentary that came out like 10 years ago or whenever that was, helped put a little bit more spotlight on them, but they're still way under the radar to a lot of people.
Oh, big time. I mean, they're still, they're still mucking it out in the clubs, and that's fine. Yeah. And that's great. And, they are doing a little better than they were. I don't think they have to have jobs anymore.
Right.
Well, they can't. They're always on the road. Always on the road. For them, when they caught back on, to now, I mean, they got to be close to 60. They're just, they're killing it. And it's just a testament to having passion for what you do and for, really just not giving up. And, now they're all over, they're touring Europe, opening for Udo, sold out everywhere. You gotta love it. So, more power to them. And I think that, you just can't count them out. They just keep coming back.
Yeah, and if people aren't real familiar with them or have never listened to them, just go check out that documentary first and foremost, because it's just a great music documentary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I watched it earlier. I knew we were going to talk about them. I knew that this was coming up, and I had listened to the new album again. I've listened to it like a million times since it came out. And I watched it just a little bit ago just so I could get in that headspace. And it's just such a telling open story. I mean, you can't go wrong, and it'll kind of choke you up every now and then.
Yeah, and these guys are an influence on bands that became huge,
Oh, big time.
They never did themselves, but like you said, they've never given it up. We've had the opportunity now to see them twice over the past 8 or 9 years, and they're just a great live band. I talked about this last time we talked about their single. It's a 3-piece, but even live, it doesn't sound like a 3-piece. It's, it just has this fullness to it, It doesn't need anything more than what it's got.
No, it doesn't, yeah.
And that's usually typically not the type of genre of music that, would incorporate a 3-piece, which is cool.
Yeah, very, very, and you've seen, they've had an additional guitar player, or they've had that before, and it
That's
just,
right.
they don't, I mean, all in that movie, they had a rhythm guitar player the whole time, but they really don't need it. I mean, they're just a powerhouse just as they are. So, I mean, again, more power to them.
Yeah. And this thing kicks off, Daggers and Rum.
See, that's one of my favorite ones on the whole album.
Same here. It's just, it's the song sounds exactly like the title says.
Yeah.
It's got this whole pirate feel to it. Just pirate metal.
Yeah, and what I thought about it was it's a great album, it's a great kickoff song for an album, and it kind of, what I liked was it's a little bit more epic than what Anvil is known for.
That's true.
A little bit bigger. So I thought that was really cool. That was a really, again, these guys are 60 years old, and, they're a million times better than bands that are 20 years old.
Yeah.
And, I think Die for a Lie is a great single.
Yeah.
That just has a pop to it.
Yeah.
You just can't go wrong with that. And it's got a great message.
Yeah. And that's the other thing we've talked about before, the opening drums on that.
Yeah, dude.
It's just right in your face like it should be. And, he's a guy that has always been underrated as far as drummers, as far as
always
just in all of rock and metal.
Yeah.
His name doesn't get brought up when people are talking about great drummers, and it should.
That's right. Just like Lars Ulrich has said a million times, that's who they looked up to back in the day, was how do we get to be as good as Rob Reiner? And that guy is a monster. He's like Animal on the drum set. He really is.
Right. I think after Daggers and Rum, my favorite track is probably Ambushed.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
It's got that killer opening riff, and it's just, in your face. Like, well, all Anvil's in your face, but, it just jumped out to me the most, I think.
What do you think of Zombie Apocalypse? That kind of had a stomp to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the other thing. Like, you mentioned Zombie Apocalypse and Daggers and Rum and whatever else, Gun Control, whatever. It's like they all their stuff seems to always have a grand theme.
Yeah.
as well.
That's right.
It's not just, here's a song about, me being happy or sad. It has this total huge...
There is a subject.
Yeah, it's like there's a big subject. You could make a movie out of what we're talking about right now,
Oh, yeah. It's, and there's sometimes... you got songs that have like the lyrics are where, you could interpret it as this, or you could interpret it as that. Well, there's none of that here. I mean, you are getting the straight deal here. The Gun Control is about gun control.
Right.
So, I mean, and they've been like that forever.
Right.
They have a song called Flying, and what's it about? Flying, and they name a bunch of cities and countries and stuff.
Right.
It's like a less corny version of Kissin' Time. But anyways,
Right.
We're getting way off there. But yeah, I mean, you are, exactly what you're going to get with Anvil. And that's one of the reasons I like him. I mean, I like stuff that's basic, short, to the point, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I just like stuff that's sharp, cleaned up. And that's why I love bands like, I don't even know what, but it's just it caters to my tastes big time. So that's why I identify with Anvil so much.
Yeah, and they got the video for the song Runaway Train, where they've got all the kids that have ran away and are missing, and it's helped to bring a lot of kids back home.
Really?
No, I just described Soul Asylum, dude.
Oh, I had no idea. See, I didn't even think about that because I'm in such a non-Soul Asylum headspace for the last, I don't know, all my fucking life. So you got me on that one.
Hey, but you knew that video.
Yes, I did. It's been so long, it totally escaped me. You got me, Trey.
Sorry, that was my one bad joke for the podcast. I've got to do it at least once.
I don't know. You got a lot of bad jokes, but anyways.
Well, we've also got the new album from Monster Truck.
Yes.
And they're another band that's not too mainstream yet, but hopefully they'll get there. They've got a killer sound. They're accessible enough where they could fit on the radio, but it's not, generic in the least. These guys are from Canada, which baffles my mind because you don't ever hear bands. I mean, at least us down here, we're not from there where we hear all the unknown independent bands, but you just don't hear this sound usually come from Canada.
Exactly.
It's usually coming from the deep south or something.
It either comes from around here or the south or, strangely enough, England.
Right.
Because a lot of British bands love this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're, surprised at another Canadian thing. But that's good. That's great.
That's true. 2 Canadian bands in a row.
And, I think that Monster Truck is just, it's weighty, it's groovy, it's got a swagger. If you like, stuff like Scorpion Child and Crowbot,
even Clutch to a point.
Even Clutch, I think if you dig bands like even Rival Sons to a degree,
yeah,
I think that you're gonna love Monster Truck. There's no way you're not gonna love Monster Truck.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that 70s feel with a little bit of the stoner feel and just a good, melodic thing tying it all together.
Yeah.
And his, we've talked about this, the new album sounds a little bit different than the first album. What's the first album called? Furiosity. Mm-hmm. This new one's called Sitting Heavy. And it's a little more, I don't know.
Hold on. By the way, that's just a badass title. Sitting Heavy. Yeah. I mean, it totally sets the tone for that attitude of the band, I think. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's cool. I think this one's a little more, I don't know the right way to put it. It doesn't, he sings a little bit different to me as well. The first one, he was a little bit higher in a lot of his vocals.
Yeah.
And this one, there's some of that, but there's more like the single that they're playing on Octane is Don't Tell Me How to Live. And it's, he's singing a little bit deeper, but he's still got that, that soulfulness, that Southern style. We kind of compared him to Joe Altier a little bit for Brand New Sin.
Yeah.
And it's just full of great tracks, and it's a lot of diversity too. Like there's the song For the People, which is real. The first time I heard it, I said this sounds like, I said Oak Ridge Boys, but I meant Alabama.
Yeah.
It's just got that whole 70s country feel to it, and it has heavy guitars, so it's kind of like something you would hear from, Shooter Jennings or Kid Rock or something. Where
exactly.
It's real country feel, but rock mixed with it. And it's just catchy as hell. It sounds like the type of song that 30 years down the line, people would be singing as something classic. But sadly, with this day and age, that probably won't happen.
Oh, I know. But it's just like you said, and that's a perfect description. Alabama with heavy guitars. And I love Alabama. I don't care what anyone says. But this is just awesome with, heavy guitars, and it just, you said 30 years from now. I could see people 30 years ago or now or 30 years from now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those timeless deals, and it's just such a fun song to listen to.
The type of music that spans the ages.
That's right. You play it really loud.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole thing, Black Forest, She's a Witch, The Enforcer, Why Are You Not Rocking, kicks off the album. It's just something you should check out if you're into hard rock and metal music.
Yeah. So, and if you haven't got this album yet, why aren't you rocking?
Yeah. Well, then, and they're on this tour. I don't know if it started yet, but this month or next month with Volbeat and Blackstone Cherry.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's quite a bill.
Yeah, and so that could be a good thing for them getting out there because that should draw a big crowd.
Yeah.
With Volbeat and Blackstone Cherry on there.
Definitely. Yeah, that's not coming anywhere around here, is it?
No.
That sucks balls.
It's not even really a long tour, just like 2 or 3 weeks, I think. But yeah.
Short run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still haven't seen this band live, so I'm hoping it happens soon enough.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. Well, all that out of the way, we've got a third band we're going to talk about that's not from Canada. They're actually from Oklahoma.
Damn straight.
Right. And before we talk about them, we want to play a song for you. This song's brand new. It actually they just released it less than a week ago. And it's called Last Goodbye. Last Goodbye from Screaming Red Mutiny.
There you go. You remembered to say it this time.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for pointing out the fact that I didn't say it to start off. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I do. You know, well, I wouldn't be a friend if I didn't do that, right?
Exactly. So Screaming Red Mutiny is the name of the band, as you know. That's probably why you're listening. Thank you for listening.
Yes, and thanks to the guys for letting us play that song. It's a great fucking song.
Yeah, brand new, just came out this past week. First thing I want to say is I love the fact that this song sounds nothing like King Shifter, The Joint Effect, Blackwater Rebellion, or even the Dogs.
That's right. That's badass that you said that. That was going to be the first thing I was going to start talking about.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're all doing something new, something a little different. You know, I mean, for them at least.
Yeah.
And, you know, the first thing that jumps out is obviously Sprout's vocals.
Yeah.
Because he's going for something different there.
Yeah, he sure is.
And it works. He does it well.
Oh, definitely.
He's definitely expanding what we know from him, at least. You know, at least from my experience. You know, the King Shifter stuff. And, you know, it's a lot more smooth, laid back, you know, just melodic instead of the rough. You know, he always had that kind of soulful roughness to him in the King Shifter stuff, but this is just a cool vibe, you know, and I like where it's going. It's hard to say if that's what everything he's going to do with Screaming Red Mutiny is. We don't know yet, but, you know, I imagine it's going to be diverse.
Yeah.
You know, because all these guys can do that. So, and the song itself is great. It's a great melodic metal song. It's has the, you know, real modern kind of metal sound to it, but it's, you know, there's nothing generic about it in the least.
No,
and it's just a great track from the beginning to end.
Oh yeah. This song has heavy. This song has hooks. This song has it's got bounce. This is just a great hard rock track. We got to see John Lotto lay down the guitars. As you'll hear, you know, we got to go in the studio and hang out with him, and it was just this song is a great calling card. It's a great first, impression. It sets the tone. I like what's going on with this band. I mean, they've got a kick-ass logo. I like that logo.
Yeah.
It's real, strong and direct. It's just, there's a good vibe with this band, and, I have to really congratulate them, like you said, for each one of them are stepping out of the box and, doing something different. And I think that is going to pay off well for these guys. They're very smart to do this, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, and they all four of them come from bands that we personally love. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We played tracks from a couple of them before, and they all have this background. I think the last time we talked about them, I called it, a super group of area musicians, because it basically is. They're all from bands that people in this area know, and it's just cool to see this come together and to work out the way it obviously has, at least so far in the first 4 minutes, that we've heard from them.
Yeah, definitely.
But we knew it would with the guys involved. I wasn't worried that it wasn't gonna.
Yeah, true.
And like you said, we got to go in the studio. That was very cool and honor that they asked us to come over there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you said, we got to see them record some of the guitars and see the process going on, and then we did the interview after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, we love doing this kind of stuff, but to be invited into, the process,
right?
Especially when it's a new kind of thing, very cool of these guys.
Yeah, it's a totally different step than just coming and sitting down with someone,
Oh yeah,
inviting
definitely.
you into something that even their close friends weren't there, So it's
that's right, and they had us two knuckleheads in there,
right? But you mentioned the logo. They talked about that in here. They talk about how the band came together, the sound, writing, all that kind of stuff, where they're taking it, that kind of thing. And I know they announced they've got a show in Kansas City coming up, and I think that's the only thing they've announced. But they do have other stuff coming. They just can't say it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, but just go to Facebook and type in Screaming Red Mutiny, give them a follow, and you'll be able to find out all this stuff. They're not just going to be in Tulsa. They're going to be all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
They are. They have plans, and it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we ready to get into this interview?
That's right. Let's do it.
As John's mouthpiece. Wait. Remember when Prince went silent and he didn't say nothing to nobody for a while? And he was on Good Morning America, and Joan London was sitting there, and Prince was sitting there with his glasses on, and he had his hood over his head, and he had the word slave shaved to the side of his head, and he was going by the artist formerly known as Prince. And she goes, "Well, good morning, Prince. It's nice to have you." Prince just went, yes, the artist formerly known as Prince wishes to tell you that he's no longer going by Prince anymore. He is simply known as the artist formerly known as Prince, or the artist. She just kind of has this look on her face like, okay. So, tell me something about this new record, Crystal Ball. He said it's some of the best work he's ever done. I was like, oh man, Prince is so awesome, man. He didn't have to say nothing.
He's one of the only guys that could do that.
Right. And not get seen as some like cocky weirdo, you know. But he's really fighting for his stuff, man.
And he got it.
Yeah.
He eventually got it back.
Every bit of it.
Well, we've had you on before, and everybody knows your voice, so everybody just talk once so people can hear your voice, know who you are in case they don't know you.
What's up?
What's your name?
The Mike.
I'm John Halata. Anthony or Tony, whichever.
Cool.
Greg Manuel, but everybody calls me Sprout.
Right on. So just getting right into this, how'd this come about, the Screaming Red Mutiny?
Well, I've been living here for a while at that point, and I got a chance to walk around town and see who does what and who plays in the scene, and who some of the best musicians in the area are. And I've always been a big Joint Effect fan. I'm a big John Halata fan. Always loved his playing, and I always loved his vocal, and he didn't have a problem putting his soul out there, kind of like me, and those people are kind of rare in that sense. So I've wanted to work with John Halata for a few years before, at the point, and, the planets just have not aligned until now for that. And either I'd be doing something or he'd be doing something, or, it's just time for that now.
Yeah, really, once Tony brought this 7-string down to me, I was on the phone with Sprout right away.
And I was already playing with the Joint Effect as their drummer, so it was a real easy transition for me because I've wanted to work with Sprout for a while. John and I were already together, so it just seemed like the natural thing to do.
I had tried to work with Sprout a couple of times, and there was always different things coming up to where it was preventing us to really get into it 100%. But then tuning a couple of times was the issue, and once I got this lower tuning, I knew it was on then.
And then we had to go through the process of finding that last member. And Sprout had told us about Mike. Mike was working with another project at the time. He told us about Mike and said that Mike may be interested. It's like, bring him in, and it finally got him in there, and it was like it was a natural fit for what this project's about, what it's doing.
So we have among us some of Tulsa's most experienced musicians. So I just wanted to see what would happen.
Well, sounds like we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and several of the interviews we've done with local guys, at least three or four of them, your names come up when we just ask them, who do you like around town?
Yeah,
so
it's always John Halata.
Yeah,
they all say that.
Well, that's cool. That's flattering.
But so how do you guys describe this sound? Is it similar to the Joint Effect since it's your guitars? Or what do you think?
I'd say definitely not. I'm going for a whole different sound on this one. Yeah, it's still me playing, but it's just got a whole nother vibe, whole nother feel to it all. It's got a different attitude. Working with these guys, it's just everything's been brought out a lot more and just bigger sound, wider sound.
It's one of the reasons that this is a big deal for me, because each of us are out of our normal element from what we normally are doing to make something different. And so when we sit around in the room, it's like, well, this obviously isn't what I used to do in King Shifter, or what Tony used to do, and even the Dogs, or John and his deal, or even what Mike has done. I think it's been more jarring for Mike than it has for any of us. But he's been a trooper, man. He's been along with it solid, and he's really starting to, I can't say like the tuning, but he's starting to respect it a little bit.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. But everybody in this band is doing something a little bit different than what we were accustomed to doing.
Right.
And, one of the reasons I'm in this position today is because I wanted to grow. And I think this band is allowing us to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just from what I heard, I can definitely tell, well, that doesn't sound anything like King Shifter.
No.
So that's cool that you're just, totally mixing it up
Well,
and all that.
I don't think any of us, anything that we're doing right now sounds like anything we just previously came from. So that's real cool.
I mean, I didn't want to be in another stoner doom band. I don't want to be pigeonholed, so if you will. But this group here is more than enough for me to get deep and have an outlet and explore some different things vocally, and just have some different kind of groove with us too. So I like that.
The same for me. Not singing in this group has allowed me to explore other things on guitar.
Have you been in a band before where you weren't singing, or is this the first time?
No, this is first.
I mean, I know you guys haven't played live, but is it a weird feeling, you think, or is it something to be easy?
I thought it was going to be a little weird, but no, it's really been smooth, like a fish to water, I guess you'd say.
Hurry up, get him in the boat.
Yeah.
Do all you guys chip in on stuff, or is it just like two guys or one guy that writes everything, or how's that kind of came about?
The songwriting is very collective. I've never experienced a songwriting group like this before, especially with the amount of experience we have in this band. I know Tony and I, we both come from touring acts, and so we've had to sit around and learn how to compose, and we've had to learn how to arrange things, and we really take a look at the best assets of everyone, and we use what we do, and we use what we do well. And sometimes people have this big misconception, if you continue to do certain things the same way, that it won't be any different. Well, sometimes your environment's different. Sometimes what's in your head's different, and that's what's come out in the music so far.
Well, you guys have been writing a while leading up to this recording. Like, have you done it like together in a room?
Yes.
Or is it?
Oh yeah. We actually had a couple of songs done before Mike came in, but once he came in, it was kind of like, okay, make these yours, and then this is what we've got, and we just kind of went from there. Allowed him to just run with it, and add his little flavor to it. So
Okay.
it's not a one person writing all the music and saying, okay, this is what we're going to play, this is how we're going to do it.
Well, how did you guys adapt to? I mean, you guys have worked together before, but how did you adapt to writing with someone you'd never written before? You said it was easy, but was it? Was there anything about it that was weird at first, or is it just a natural?
No.
It's been pretty natural, it feels like. I mean, it's some things you've got to get used to, just mainly hanging out, getting to know each other has been the hardest part, because we do live quite a little ways from each other, and it's not easy just to go to each other's house and hang out. But, like for me, taking time to get to know Sprout and hanging out with him, and then, of course, with Tony, we went through that in the process when he first hooked up with me and joined Effect, and now I'm getting to do it with Mike. And, that's a big part of it to me. It's not the hardest part, though. There hasn't been any hard parts in this band. I haven't seen anything yet.
And I think rhythmically, for me, it's been a real natural feel to work with Mike. I mean, it's just like, I think the first time we played together, for me, it felt like, dadgum, we've been doing this together for a while, because it was just such, everything just seemed to fall into place and just fit real well. That's the most, in a band, for me, the most important relationship is the relationship that I have with my bass player. Right. And I think musically, when we started playing together, it was just like so natural, like we had been doing it, together for a while. So this has been a real natural. You would think from where we're coming from and from what we all did prior to that there would be, some conflict and some static, but it's really been a natural. It's really been a natural process since we've been together.
One of the reasons I think it's been so easy is because we're all open to the process. We'll try out all ideas, any ideas as far as songwriting, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We're not going to sit and cry about it. We're not going to spend all night on it, but we do a really good job of communicating ideas with each other and trying them out. And, maybe this sounds better 2 times, or maybe it sounds better 4 times. It could be just as simple and silly as that, but we're not going to spend forever on it. That's been pretty easy, just communicating with everybody. And everybody does a really good job of describing their ideas, because sometimes you'll be in a jam room and you got one guy saying something, the other 3 or 4 cats don't even know what he's talking about, But everybody does a pretty good job of explaining things in the band when it comes to songwriting.
Did you have that same feeling when you came in?
Yeah.
Like, where it was real natural for you coming in?
Yeah, it was. It was very different than the project I was working on before. It was like polar opposite, but it fell together pretty quickly. After a couple weeks, I dropped the other project. It was hard to do because I really liked it. I really liked the music, but
What's funny is, for about a month, I was jamming in this group with Mike. He was, he's mentioning, and the music was good. The music was real good, but ultimately it came down to some things to where, it wasn't a good, good situation for me to continue in. Not that it was bad, but I wanted something something more progressive when it comes to being in a band.
Right. So this is your guys' full-time thing now, all 4 of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this, what we're recording, what you guys are recording right now. I mean, what's the schedule? Like, when do you want to have something out?
Well, we do want to release a song here in the next week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of the process for recording our EP, so hopefully in June we'll have a formal release, and we're just gonna start gigging and doing a little bit of traveling.
There you go. And is this going to be just something like digital, or you're gonna get a CD out, or?
Well,
I think the first couple of songs will probably be digital, but then as we get, the final product, it will obviously be something
Physical
a physical
copies,
copy. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Do you have any live dates set up you can mention? Or?
Nope.
no, you will see us live soon. Unfortunately, we just
can't talk about it.
it.
But yeah, we do.
I mean, this is the part about Fight Club I don't like. It's the part of Fight Club I don't like.
And that's okay. Keep them in the dark until definitely.
Yeah, but big things are for sure coming. Don't think we just try to sit here try to be cruel to y'all, because we're not. We love internet radio land and podcast land. It's just that there's just certain things we can't talk about, or
certain ways things got to be done.
Right.
Exactly.
There's channels and red tape and attitudes at play. Y'all understand?
There's principalities involved.
Right. So yeah, but stay tuned. You'll find us.
Cool. Well, I know you've been on stage with him. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But have any of your other guys performed? Well, obviously you two. Have you performed with these guys live before, or no?
no, sir.
No?
Not yet.
Well, I perform with Anthony once. It was the Joint Effects last show. I did one tune with him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did
we
one
were there.
tune.
We saw that.
Yeah, we was doing the song "Keep It Real" from Joint Effect.
That was my favorite Joint Effect tune. It's a good one.
So, speaking of Joint Effect, is that just on hiatus or is that done?
I think the name is done. You know, I'm sure I'll continue to make music and everything till I die. But if I do anything else on my own, as far as the band, it won't be that name. I've sort of regretted that name since we came up with it, and it just kind of stuck. And but it's definitely something I'd like to get out from under. And so right now, it's definitely not working right now. It's been laid to rest right now.
All right. Well, you mentioned the name. That's a question I wanted to ask you. Where'd the Screaming Red Mutiny name come from?
I was, John and I were trying to get Screaming Red Mutiny started over a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. It just didn't happen. So once we decided we could do this, if we can get together and start, we decided to just continue using that name. And what the name means to me is our logo is a red fist. A fist is pretty much an international symbol of solidarity. And red meaning the same color of blood everybody has running through their body. So Screaming Red Mutiny is about the people coming together instead of the people rebelling against things. And there's no shortage of people no shortage of bands telling people to be aggressive and to go out there and smoke dope or drink every night. But one of the things I wanted to accomplish in Screaming Red Mutiny was to give back to fans what they've given me was hope. And it's a very, very positive thing going on here, and we're all happy about it. And the content reflects that, as well as the energy in the music.
So lyrically, is it an uplifting type thing, or?
It's still very real. The content is different from what I did in King Shifter. Of course, King Shifter is a separate animal, but I feel differently than what I felt 3 years ago. I'm a whole different person. Sometimes being in a band, when you change and your music doesn't, it seems like you're still kind of stuck in the past in a way. Because nobody stays the same. I don't care how long you know somebody. Something about them changes. And this band pretty much reflects my attitude about life right now. And hopefully it can help other people, discover how beautiful their life is. And that the bad things that happen to you is just a flash in the pan, man. You can make it. But we want to try and give people some hope anymore. All this chaos going on.
Yeah, and there's lots of it.
Are you handling all the lyrics like you did with King Shifter, or is there any input? Oh, okay.
Yes. I've been the chief lyricist. But yeah, a lot of it's just the stuff that's going on in my mind. It's a lot of stuff that's happened to me. It's some things that's happened to others. Life is a big clipboard where you can write down the things that bother you and try and make sense of it. And sometimes it's not easy to do. But if you have a general understanding of where your heart lies, you can express it.
Well, this may be looking too far ahead, but after this EP, are you looking to do a full album down the line, or just do it as it comes type thing? Or?
We're going to... funny thing is we still haven't finished all of our songwriting. So
that's one of the cool things about this band. It's now, with the exception of the last 2 rehearsals, because we were getting ready to record. Every rehearsal that we've had, we've written something new. I mean, every time we've been together. So there's no telling what's going to come out of this band this time. 3, 4, 5 months down the road.
That's great that stuff just keeps coming and coming. That's awesome. That's a good sign.
I know in my situation in particular, I didn't get a chance to create a whole lot of music. There, of course, there's always the business and the stuff you have to do. Like, you have to hit the road, you have to do this. But sometimes the aspect of creating music gets lost along the way, or it gets kind of pushed by the wayside. But we really do want to make songwriting and creating a priority. We don't want to write just 12, 14, 15 songs. All right, let's go out there. And then here it is time later. Like, all right, what have we progressed on musically? I mean, what are we doing here? So we're doing a good job of keeping it fresh for ourselves while it's still fresh.
It's been so fresh that I think myself, I can hear us growing already. Just from the first song we wrote to the fourth song we wrote. It's starting to. I can see it growing already.
Nice.
Definitely hear it.
Well, you're recording an EP. Are you going to have enough songs written to fill a full set?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. We're not that far from that now.
No.
Okay.
So
So is it a hard decision on what songs are getting recorded, or?
Yeah. They're all so good to us, man. All these songs are our babies, and it's kind of hard to pick the best looking baby out of your. You just can't do that.
we decided we were going to record at Simpson Studios, and once we had put everything in place, it's like, okay, so what are we going to record? And we all four of us said we want to do this one, and then Mike records practices, so we get a new song on the recording, and we come back to rehearsal the next week, and it's like, do we think that those are going to be the best songs?
Because we just wrote this one. It's pretty good, We'll second guess ourselves a little bit on that
Right.
department, because what you put on a record is important. But we're gonna announce song titles and soon. I still haven't decided on a title for the EP, but that'll be out here in the next week.
You have like a few contenders. Are you whittling it down?
No, it's usually that one thing that comes up that sticks.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll go through a whole bunch in my head. I'm even more than willing to hear suggestions. Suggestions are always great. So I used to feel I had to put all that burden on myself as far as the creative aspects of records like that. I'll come up with ideas, and then I present them to bands I've been in. They'd sit there like, "Yep, nope, yep, nope." I'm like, "Well, where are your ideas?" Everybody's a critic, but we're doing really well on that as far as the creating music part.
Well, I don't think we mentioned earlier on we're recording this in the studio. Did you want to give a shout out to this guy right here?
Yes. We're actually recording at Simpson Studio. I've actually worked with Kyle in a previous project. And when we were deciding where we were going to record, I told him, I wanted to work with Kyle because for me, a lot of stuff that I hear, it just sonically isn't where I would like for it to be. And because we are in kind of a lower tuning, we are
very low tuning.
We're in a lower tuning. I didn't know anyone around who could capture us sonically the way that I wanted to be captured. So I kept telling the guys, we need to check Kyle out. We need to check Kyle out. And I let them hear some of the stuff that we had done with him. I had done with him previously. So
I had heard Kyle's work by listening to Even the Dogs. So already, I was like, oh, word? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
We had come up with a few different ideas for recording. We thought about going to some of the local studios. We thought about going to Wichita, Kansas, to where when I was in King Shifter, we recorded 26 tons because that pretty good quality on that. But this is more convenient, and I like the atmosphere here. It's really good.
And I like the production also. Kyle's got a great ear for hearing stuff. As we write songs, a lot of times we don't hear a lot of that extra stuff. And it's nice to have a fresh ear, not only recording, but hear that extra stuff that, hey, here's what I heard. Here's something that I think, makes it a little fuller. So.
Now, over the course of the interview, I've heard you guys talk about tuning down. Are you guys tuning down a lot? Is this something new for all you guys, or?
I was in a band that played in G sharp in
Okay.
2003. So it's been a long time,
Yeah.
but for the most part, the bands I've been in over the years have been between the tunings of C sharp and G sharp.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big gap there that my range vocally can handle. So, I mean, this is very comfortable for me as far as the tuning and singing it.
I was never a fan of 6-string guitars tuning down that low. But Tony came down one evening and threw the 7-string at me, and I haven't put it down since. It's opened up a whole new world to me, and it feels great. And I can't imagine going back to a 6-string now.
So you haven't been playing 7-string that long?
No,
Really?
no, I haven't.
I had actually went and got it set up, and I wanted to, because I also write, and I wanted it to be tuned where we were writing at the time. So I took it to rehearsal. I said, "Here, I need you to tune this for me," and I could just see the whole world. When he got it in his hands and got it tuned, and he hit that first chord, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going to get that back anytime soon. So.
Right.
Say bye to that one.
This isn't Wolf Bread chili. This is Bronx chili. Yeah, you know. For y'all Tulsa locals know what I'm talking about, you know. But
That's awesome.
this stuff's made in New York City.
Are you guys planning to, I think you did say that earlier, get out of town? You planning to take this on the road
Yes.
soon?
Yes,
Definitely,
yes.
definitely.
It's probably going to happen sooner than we thought. The way things are looking. Man, I wish I could talk about some of the things, but I just
Hey, this
just
is
can't.
about a week, you know. Something will be announced within a week.
maybe, I don't know. Who knows when that stuff happens, but when it does, we will for sure let you know what's going on.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, anybody else got anything they want to interject or?
No, I think we're all pretty excited about what's coming up, what's going on. Definitely excited about the new project, and hoping that people like it as much as we do. Because I think we're definitely in it.
Yeah.
We're definitely in it for the long haul. So
Is this quiet?
yes.
Yes.
Except for when he screws up, the obscenities fly.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you guys talking to us.
No, really, Mike is a funny guy. You just kind of have to catch him while he's talking,
And we thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah, thank you, man. You guys do such good work in the area, man. I don't know how many times over the years I've been a part of a podcast. I think I probably told you the same thing last time.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's nice that you guys have actual questions. Yeah. So, Sprout, how tall are you? Do you play for the Denver Nuggets? What size shoe do you wear? Do you like pizza? I love pizza. Well, Jiminy Christmas, dude. Really? Y'all the real deal, and I got much love and respect for y'all.
Right on. Well, thanks.
Thunder Underground, y'all.
There you go. Sprout, Mike Starkey, John Halata, Anthony Hinton. All four of the members of Screaming Red Mutiny. We appreciate them, like we said earlier, inviting us into the studio to see a little bit of the recording and talk to them. Had a great time. Chat came out good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, I always say, oh, this is going to be a good one, but this is really a good one. So we hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you always get a funnier story or two from Sprout, and we got that.
Yes. That guy will always have you laughing.
Yeah. And it's just great to see all these guys doing something they love. This band seems like the type that, like I said, they came together, they formed a new sound, and I do believe that with the guys involved that this will go somewhere.
Yeah,
I've said that a lot about other bands, but I don't say it unless I truly believe it.
That's right. That's right.
And like we mentioned, Sprout, go back in the past episodes on SoundCloud.com or SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. And we've had an episode where we just had Sprout on. This was back last summer, I believe, and that's a really good one as well. All kinds of stories and stuff about his past and King Shifter and all that. We've also got stuff from everyone from Europe to Crowbar.
That's right.
Warrant, Battlecross, Sons of Texas, Miss May I, Severmind, Driver. We just had Cody Slane on from Blackwater Rebellion.
Yep. If you haven't heard that one yet, go back and listen to it.
Mike Starkey, who was just on this one, was a former member of Blackwater. And we had... I just went blank. Insight, good thrash metal, just like Battlecross. We mention them a lot because we want people to know about them.
Oklahoma Braze, Dave Cantrell.
Yeah, the list is getting pretty big.
That's right, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah. Coming up later this week, be on the lookout. We've got Lenny Lashley from the Street Dogs and I almost said Darkwater because I had Blackwater in my mind, but Dark Buster. That'll be a great one. We're going to, besides talking about him and his interview, we're going to play a track from a punk band out of Tulsa called Madewell and just talk about some punk for a little bit.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited for this one. We've been talking about this one, so it's finally coming.
Yeah. And we also might eventually have an episode about Motley Crue, too. And we talked about 40 times and it hasn't happened.
I know, but this punk one is actually going to fucking happen.
Right? Yeah, it's already been half recorded. Right?
Definitely.
Well, once again, Facebook.com, The Thunder Underground. Also, THNDRUNDR Ground on Twitter. The Thunder Underground on Instagram. The Thunder Underground on YouTube. Thunder Underground on Periscope. And TheThunderUnderground.com is the website that houses all this stuff.
That's right. And I just had an idea.
All right.
If on the Motley Crue episode, we should just say every other word of whatever it is we're going to say.
That's a great idea.
That would be a complete Motley Crue episode. Vince
And
Neil would fucking love it.
We could say it out of tune. Yeah, it would be awesome. Well, speaking of, side note, we're going to hear this in a few days, but this past weekend I saw Dead Metal Society at the Cimarron in Tulsa.
That's right.
And while, I didn't see the whole time they were there, probably like 2 hours or something like that. And we all know they're a great band, but they played, while I was there, I saw them play Wildside and Shout at the Devil.
Yeah.
And it was worlds better than Vince Neil. There you go.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Todd Edwards from Dead Metal Society, congratulations. You kick ass.
You knocked Vince Neil's dick in the dirt.
Yep.
Well, on that note,
yeah. We've had 2 episodes with members of Dead Metal Society.
That's
Nine
right.
And Jason Gilardi. Go check those out.
That's right.
And now I'll quit rambling. And until next time.
Later.
Thunder Underground, y'all.